The question everyone asks: how to make money with music. Now, the crazy thing is, you got to look at the environment of the industry that we're currently in today, and music actually doesn't make any money. So that's the messed up piece about this, is that back in the day you could sell a CD, you could sell a tape, and it was a direct purchase of your music. So you knew how much you could make off if you sold this many CDs, if you sold this many tapes. If you did it independently, you knew that. If you did it through a record label, then of course, yes, they take their splits and everything like that, distribution, all that. And then you know how much you're going to make per CD, which might not be much, but you got distribution, everything like that. So, how do I make money from my music? Now, I always say there's five different income sources. Now, some people will say more. I believe in five, and these are my five. Um, I'm gonna start from the ones I use as passive income, and then I'm gonna go down to the main one of all. Now, as I said, the income source of actual music. So, music from B to C, from you as the business to the consumer, or your record label to the consumer, or whatever, streams. Now, inside this understanding, you have most streams is around $3,000 per 1 million streams. So to me, this is very passive income unless you're very strong on the internet. Your platform is super strong. But then you look at the artists that have these platforms, it's not many of them. So if you look at the majority, it's around 30 million artists in the United States, and less than 1% of them make over $40,000 a year. And we end up focusing on the streams because that's the only way we see fit to make money, is the direct purchase of our music, and we don't dig in deeper to other parts of the business. So a lot of times we get stuck in that world and we just focus on streams. Now, streams, if you can, as I said, if you can build that platform and you're strong enough, there's tons of artists, like I know, like one of the gentlemen my partner used to work with, and he knows Dax. He's very, very strong on the internet. Makes a lot of money off the internet. He's very good at it. He's very good at staying up with his content, staying up on talking to his fans on the internet, making sure every time he drops a song, the streams shoot through the roof. If you can do that, amazing. To me, in my career, I wasn't able to do that well. That's because I come from a time prior to streams. I come from the time when we still had CDs, and I would actually print up 1,000 CDs and go sell them. And I'd have like, I print up 1,000 CDs, sell for $10 a piece. I make my $10,000. And that's what it was. Every time I was ready, I go print up another set. I'd be back out there on the grind, and then it got to the point where I was selling spots on my CDs, to where I could have commercials on my CDs. So I was very creative. I'd have commercials on my CDs with businesses, even with the mayor and everything like that, and they would pay so much, and then I'd be able to cover my cost of my CDs, and then I could either give them out for free, and I'd make money off of my sponsors that are on the CDs, and then so I was able to really be creative with the actual direct sell of music. Now that people give it away for free, kind of free, you can say, there is no direct purchase. There's just the cents you make per stream. So I see it as passive income, but if you can do it, great. Second one is, of course, publishing, syncing, all that. Now, we do make this, a lot of people make this a big deal, because if you're really about that life, be about that life. Be heavy into that life. If you really can make songs consistently and get them placed, and you make music like that people want to put on movies, people want to put on TV shows, people want to put on anything, amazing. Now, it does take, this does become a full-time job. A lot of people I know that are heavy in it, they make the music that fits the moment. And so they're not really focused fully on them as an artist. They're more focused on making music that fits the moment, that goes on TV or goes on the next movie. Like, hey, I want to be on Fast and Furious, so I'm gonna make this song about cars. So as an artist, would you have regularly made a song about cars, or are you making a song about cars because you can land this deal and you know what the song needs to sound like? A lot of times, even in my situation, I've had songs land that I did focus on the actual the actual event that was going on, and they gave me a call and said, hey, can you make a song that sounds like this? Can it sound like this and feel like this and then talk about this? I've been willing to do that in different spaces. And then also on the other end, some of my songs that I made, I've been able to land deals on because I made so many songs. So you see a lot of people who are writers and stuff with these deals, and people who are like just heavy into wanting to have songs match those emotions and those feelings of those movies and those type of shows. So I've always looked at this as passive income because a lot of times I know the publishing checks have taken a long time. So you look at like, I would say the average one I've received, unless it was like upfront money, has always been almost a year to when I got the money. So then I always looked at it as a cherry on top to go like, oh my God, like we landed on this show. Dope. Like next year I finally see the check and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. But I never came into the business going like, I'm going to consistently do this because I wanted to be just the artist and moving how I wanted to move. The third, merch. Now merch, I spoke in another episode. Merch is one of those things that can make you a lot of income. Now, but at the same time, you don't want to be a merch business. So that's where I always had my what can you say, like double-edged sword. Was one side of me wants to make that money off merch, but then the other side of me doesn't want to be a merch company. So you're in a space of being like, am I how much can I do and not become a merch company? Because that's a whole nother company. And as I tell people, when you're an artist, you're your own startup. Your own startup. So that's one business. So now when you add merch to it, that's two businesses. Now merch, I watch people come into shows where they've been probably paid to do this show. They've probably been paid $1,000 and from the promoter. They've been paid $1,000 and then they go sell like $2,000-3,000 in merch. And then they in the night with $4,000. There's a gentleman out here. I've seen him do it where they pay him like $2,000 to come to the show, and then he just go out and do like $4 or $5 in merch and just kill. And I watch people who do it at bigger scales. Like you watch like that gentleman was named Black Pegasus. I watched him do it, sell like end up leaving the night like $6,000 because he knew how to get his merch off. And then I watch, even some of the bigger artists, you take like the Tech Nines and you say, look at him selling like 30,000, 40,000 in merch in a night and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like there is you know what I'm saying? There is a plan to that. And how much you can spend on that and your music, if you understand that correctly, then you can be very, very strong. In my career, I was able to get to nights where, yeah, I've made an extra $1,000, $2,000 a night, because of the merch we had. And of course, you always say, hey, man, I'm gonna go print some more merch and I'm gonna come up with new ideas. But then you catch yourself, becoming a merch company. So inside of that, I'd say one thing that's important about merch, like that and this is just like, you can take it or leave it. This advice, take it or leave it. I've always found out that the merch that connects with people most has been the merch that it correlates with me, but it's not directly. Like it's not like a Top Flight shirt, like, because that's my group. Like it's not a Top Flight shirt. Like it's a shirt that was tied to like a song. Like when I did like No Love, and I had the broken heart where the O's of no and love are, and that sold because people tied to it from a point where it looks like they're just wearing a dope outfit versus I'm wearing something that's in support of someone. So that's a word of advice. You can take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? But that has always worked very strong on my side. It was like building those pieces of merch and things that you'd go like, oh, I would rock this, or I would carry this, or do this either way. Like those have always worked perfect for me. And that makes a lot of money. The second, the fourth thing, which some people don't really ever talk about this, is sponsors. If you already have the fan base, this is where you can really excel. I've been in a space where I've made $12,000 a month from sponsors, and I'm independent. And that was just my sponsors paying that $12,000 a month. So, um, sponsors are when you can leverage, and you can leverage your fan base and say, hey, I have these 1,000 fans, I have these 5,000 fans, and I can get them to do this. They'll drink this, they'll smoke this, they'll drive this, they'll eat this, they'll wear this. And then in return for your advertisement abilities with these people, companies are willing to pay you to say, hey, if you'll get my product in front of all these people and they will start purchasing, then we're willing to kick back. However, they're willing to kick back for that situation. Now, sometimes they're willing to kick back in actual product, and sometimes they want to kick back in money, and they're willing to pay for it. So you just have to know both sides of what you want. I tell artists a lot of times the things you need and the things you enjoy, you should probably get that all sponsored, because when you go on tour, it's easy to be like, hey, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to wear this, and I already know it because they're going to supply it. So multiple times I've had different sponsors that supplied my outfits, that supplied my food, that supplied some of my jewelry, that supplied tons of different things. And then of course I had those that would supply money for what I was doing, and then I'd have both. And now this was it can be a very strong form of income, which a lot of independent artists don't really think about, because if you look at the top artists in the world and you say maybe like Sprite is with Drake or something like that, and they didn't pay him like $20 million to do this or whatever like that, you can be that too for smaller locations that are in your area, that are just in your city. You can be that too for them, and I'm going to explain that further in other videos, how to do that and how to build those. But you can take that, and then that can be a form of income for you, a strong form of income. A lot of times it's one of those things that this could be stronger than any other form of income if you have enough of a fan base, because you can have as many sponsors as you want. You can only do so much of the other stuff, but you can always advertise for someone. You can always be a walking billboard. Now, some people will take that statement wrong and be like, "Oh, I don't want to be a walking billboard," but you're already a walking billboard. See, this is the weird thing that gets in people's minds that I always get mad at, because people will be like, "Well, that's selling out." Well, you already sold out. You already wearing a hat and some shirts and some stuff like that already goes to somebody. It's either going to Nike or something like that, and it's going to all these big companies. Might as well get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? You was already gonna go eat that shit anyway. You was already gonna go over there. So why not go over here? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the debate here. Is you already done it. You already got the iPhone in your hand. You already the walking billboard. So now if you're gonna be a walking billboard, you might as well be a walking billboard that is wearing and doing things that can actually make you some income. So that one is an important one. That's number 4. And the last one, which is my favorite one of all times and will forever be, and this is why we have Qoncert here. The last one is shows. Shows, which is the most, probably, if you can do it right, is the most steady amount of income you can get. Because even though you have sponsors, you have to have shows to get sponsors. You have to have a fan base to get sponsors. And the only way you can actually control that traffic is if you have shows. Because a lot of people say, hey, it's easy to get sponsors online. Now, it is for some people. If you're an influencer online and you can possibly have those followers and use those followers as a way of income for you, amazing. If you can get to that many followers online. However, if you can build traffic, foot traffic to any business, that's even stronger than that internet push. Because I watch tons of artists go like, well, let's say this sponsor, I'm going to say, eat here. Now, I have 1 million followers. Now, out of 1 million followers, how many of the 1 million followers can actually get to one of these locations? So then it's very debatable if that business is in all those locations, or if it's only in 1 or 2 locations in, one state or one region or whatnot. So then at that point, I'm in a space where all my fans, they might pay me to do that, but they might not see a turnaround from that, because none of these people can actually go there. But then my 1,000 fans that are in this area that is in where your space is, because I do shows all the time, I can put you in that building that I'm doing the show in, and I can also make sure my people go directly to you. And so shows is what it's all about. Now, if you can control shows, which we'll talk about this being in concert for a long time, a lot of people, you have to get shows consistently, you had to do things as, have tons of followers, or have a deal or something, or have an agent that can get you these shows, stuff like that. When you use Qoncert, you can get onto that app, and then you can look at these shows. You can pick a slot to be on the show. You get the slot. You agree to what the situation is with what you will be, the requirements that you will have. Get onto the show. Get yourself into a slot on that show, and that's how you get into a ranking system. When you get in the ranking system, as you work your way up, you start going from 15 tickets, 15 fans, 30, then get yourself to 50, and you headline and just start making it. Just start making your career from there. Just start going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to make it easy for artists so they can start moving like that. Now we're only in Colorado currently, but then we're expanding. As more you artists start joining the app, I start expanding to more cities. I start expanding to more states, and then that brings you way more opportunities to start doing that and start touring from one spot to the other, and then start doing more shows in your own city. So that's what this goal is with Concerts. So shows, as I did when I was coming in, I would constantly push the shows. I wanted to do show. I wanted to do a show in every city that I'm known in once a quarter or once every 2 months. And I would constantly do that because then I knew how much I was worth in every space. I knew I was like I knew I had over 1,000 fans in Denver. I knew I had about 500 fans in Colorado Springs. I knew I had like 100 fans in Utah. I knew I had 100 fans in Arizona, and I knew who they were. So then I knew exactly they were gonna come out and everything like that. And so I knew how much I was gonna make every time I touched down in every area. So then, if once you know that, and you know you can make, like, in your outside areas, you're making 1,000 night, you're making 1,000 a night in your outside areas. In your main area, you're probably making like 5 grand to 10 grand in your main area and 5 grand in your secondary area. So then, if I knew that, then I'd have like 10 spots plus my main two. So then my 10 spots, I'm making $1,000 per night. That's $10,000. Then if I come back to my main spot, I make another 10, and then I make another 5 in my second spot. So then I know what I'm making. I know that I'm coming home with around 20. That's like $25,000, and that didn't count any merch or my sponsors. So then that makes it so I'm good for with my team. I'm good for the 3 months, and then we're back out on the road doing it again. And that's how I can build a blueprint. And then through Concert, that's what I want you to do. I want you to build that blueprint so you can be like, hey, I'm going to do this stop, this stop, this stop. I'm a headliner here, 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 here. And then I'm going to open here, 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 so I can start building my fan base. And then I'm going to move up to be headliner and keep going from there. So that's the goal of it. And so that's how artists can make money. Those are those 5 income streams: your music streams, your publishing, your merch, your sponsors, and mainly your shows.